This copper components factory north of Tokyo is firing on all cylinders. But facilities like this are becoming rarer in Japan. The workforce is aging, and 1 in 5 are at least 70 years old. Nakamoto Manufacturing says it's countered the loss of staff due to the aging population by hiring from overseas. About 30% of its employees are foreigners, mostly from Indonesia and Brazil.
In this town, we cannot get along with only the Japanese. There are many towns losing their population, but here we don't have this problem.
The Japanese government hopes more companies will follow suit. Lawmakers have passed unprecedented immigration reforms in support of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's efforts to boost sluggish growth. As many as 345,000 workers will be allowed into the country starting next year. Blue-collar workers will be able to get 5-year visas by April. That'll help address chronic labor shortages in industries like agriculture, construction, and healthcare. And white-collar workers who speak Japanese will be able to extend their visas indefinitely and bring over family members. Foreigners make up just 2% of the population. Critics say higher immigration could lead to more crime. They warn newcomers could also steal jobs from locals. Meanwhile, activists are concerned immigrants could be vulnerable to exploitation. But the reforms have their supporters too.
By working together, we can learn from each other. I think it's a very positive thing because we can enhance each other's skills.
With the Olympic Games coming up, the government is working on tourism. We would like to have more foreigners too.
Since peaking at 128 million in 2008, Japan's population has fallen by more than 1 million people. And unless the baby boomers are replaced, Asia's second largest economy could go bust. Paolo Montecillo, TRT World.
Dr. Seijiro Takeshita is the Dean of the School of Management and Information at the University of Shizuoka in Japan. He told us how the economy will benefit from the influx of foreign workers.
Well, one of the biggest threat that Japan is facing is lack of labor power. This would be one of the biggest hindrance, or I would say thorn in the throat for future growth aspects of Japan. Already we're seeing an acute shortage of personnel problems appearing in areas like nursing, home care, distribution, construction, etc., and on goes the list. So basically, to mitigate this lack of human resource is definitely one thing that the government really has to focus on, particularly in simple jobs where we will be entering. In fact, we are already a mature economy, and therefore we do need to supplement these workers from overseas. There has been a lot of regulatory issues that basically blocked a lot of foreign workers to work in Japan. And I also think that there's also cultural traits as well, as Japan is a rather enclosed society in many sense. But that has to change, considering the fact that our demographics are showing a reverse triangle picture, meaning that we will have a very acute shortage of workers going forward. The key challenge is definitely a situation of increase of negative issues, like, for example, security. Japan is noted for its safeness, and many people are worrying that if we have simple job workers from overseas, that would be jeopardized. And that is one thing that they do not want to see. And secondly, they've seen the mistakes that were made in Europe, which is the failure of multiculturalism. So that's one of the reasons why the government has taken very cautious steps. In fact, they're only admitting 350,000 workers in the next 5 years. And basically, they will renew and monitor the situation every 2 years. So they're being very careful, especially about the rights of living Japan internally, et cetera. They have to basically go through some of the rigorous tests, et cetera, in order to comply with that. But the first worry that people definitely have is a bit of phobia against the foreigners that the Japanese public has, especially in regards to security of the society.